Welcome back to episode 80 of the Disorganized with This Club podcast. My name's Alex, here as always with Adam.
Hello.
And Cam.
Hey.
And we're a group of Ottawa-based players that play just about anything and everything we can qualify for. We talk about decks, tournament stories, just about anything to help you and ourselves get better at Magic.
Possibly.
Well, definitely, possibly.
I mean, you have to at least show up to pre-release to be able to. So I'm basically out on that one.
I mean, you were the only one of us to go undefeated on the weekend.
Correct. Yeah, nobody beat me because I stayed home and slept. I'm actually choked about it. I just had a really busy week last week where I was working nonstop, multiple jobs at once kind of thing for some projects I was working on, and was just exhausted by the time the weekend rolled around. So
Fair enough.
yeah, took it off. We missed that last week as well because of that, because I was busy working. We were all actually really busy because final season for Cam's first year.
I just got a project left, wrote my only final, crumpled it.
Yeah. Crump.
2-0'd it. No, not close.
There's 6 questions. I 6-0'd it.
Still had orientation for his new job today. Crumpled it. You guys played pre-release? Crumpled it.
Major life challenge, crumpled. Line them up.
What's next? Line up these pins.
Taxes, crumpled.
I gotta knock them down. Yeah. Do you remember when I started filing my taxes? Because
No.
Ron was like, "You're just giving the government an interest-free loan right now because you're a student. They owe you money." I was like, "Huh, that's right, actually." Want my damn money back. I just filed 2 years worth because I hadn't missed a couple. Felt good, man. Felt good. The tax man cometh.
All right, so pre-release weekends in the books. Had our first look at Dominaria. I guess Adam won't have much insight on this, but I had fun. I think the format's interesting. It's grindy.
It was entertaining. Well, I can't tell what it's supposed to be. In sealed, I think it's quite grindy.
Yeah.
My best deck was a 4-color deck, so I suppose I should think that. And there's a lot of really powerful grindy cards.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, a lot of the cards with aggressive potential felt like they wouldn't get enough synergistic help in a sealed pool. But in draft, I feel so every format there's a disparity between the speed and power level of draft versus sealed. Draft usually being a bit more aggressive, a bit more synergistic. I feel like that gap is going to be larger in this formats than in others.
You think so? There's been some pretty aggressive ones recently.
No, I'm not saying that this is going to be more aggressive than recent drafts. I'm saying that the gap between this draft format and this sealed format is going to be larger than the gap between sealed and draft of previous format. Ixalan and sealed was still fairly aggressive.
Yeah, it took me a sec to
Yeah.
use my noodle to figure out what you said there.
Yeah. So I feel like this is going to be a format which is quite aggressive in draft and quite grindy in sealed.
Right. Okay, I can see that. I think you can probably get lucky occasionally in sealed, but yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
That's usually the case, I feel, in aggressive decks in sealed, but I think I think what you're kind of getting at is you can more easily draft an aggressive deck successfully than you will ever really see an aggressive sealed deck.
Cards like Champion of the Flame, a 2-mana 1/1, which gets +2/+2 for everything enchanted or equipped on it. That's a card that's not going to perform very well. It will often be a 1/1, maybe a 3/3 or something in sealed. But in draft, if you've been taking short swords aggressively, because no one else really wants them, if you've been taking 2-mana enchantments and you have a couple of those, it will be large, and it will be large often.
What's the blue? Give it hexproof too. Just play blue-red auras and just suit that guy up. Give it hexproof and get in there. Unfortunately, that guy's not legendary.
The equipment aura, red-based aggressive deck is obviously going to be a lot stronger in draft.
There's actually a decent amount of very playable equipment and enchantments in the set too. So cards like that are a little better. And you have build around legends like Valdic, the red 3/2 that
card's insane.
Really rewards you for playing equipment and enchantments.
That card's bananas.
Yeah, it was in my third pool, which I almost 4-0'd. I punted away my 4-0, but I had 2 of them in my deck, and I just played 3 colors, as much enchantment and equipment I could, and it was great. Card was very good.
Yeah, it seems wild.
Yeah.
Seems very, very good.
Definitely it's probably a first pick uncommon that you just can very heavily build around a draft and get rewarded. That card was so good for me.
It seems easy to build around it too. There's enough support, right?
Yeah.
I was looking through your pool that played it, and it was packed.
Yeah.
That you had a lot of options that were at their worst, their fail state were not that bad. I mean, apart from the enchantments, if you just get blown out right away, but like, you know, if you're safe and careful, like.
And I was pretty worried with that sealed pool to start because I had a lot of bad rares. You know, I had a Mox Amber, I had a Gilded Lotus, I had the 3-mana rare elf that adds a mana for every +1/+1 counter on her.
Yeah, and it gets a counter every time an elf comes into play.
I had a haphazard bombardment. I had a lot of like bad rares, but my uncommons were very powerful. They were just spread across 3 colors.
That's
so kind of
classic limited, right? Like your uncommons were busted, so your deck was nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
your uncommons were very good.
I played one rare in my deck, which was the red-green haste elf, Grand Lord Rada. Is that her name?
Yeah, the one that
Warlord Rada. Yeah,
the mana doesn't leave
she
your pool.
She wasn't even that good in my deck. She was just a 3/4 haste person, but it was my uncommons were super powerful. Veil deck was incredibly good.
Both Rada and that elf, it feels like they're designed backwards, right? Like Rada makes a bunch of mana if you already have played all your creatures. Same with the elf.
Yeah, right. Like the payoff is in reverse.
Right.
It doesn't. They're just not
As soon as they start making a lot of mana, you have nothing left to cast.
The elf one, though, at least like the counter side is fine.
Yes.
In the sense that it grows, like that's okay. But there's also just not enough elves in standard. We can talk about standard in a bit, but
yeah. But I was worried about that deck, but it turns out busted uncommons are great when you can actually synergize a little bit.
Yeah, your deck had very good synergy, like a bunch of Saprolings and what's the name of the Phoenix?
Warcry Phoenix.
Warcry Phoenix.
Yeah, so like having just a bunch of, make 3 Saprolings, make 2 Saprolings, your Phoenix is always getting in there. If they kill it, it's coming back. Like that card is very good and limited. You had multiple copies and synergized perfectly with your deck. Yeah, your deck
the deck played out really well. I was just worried because it was one of those pools where none of the colors were really deep enough to have a main support base color. And to get the maximum out of my uncommons, I had to play one of the, the classic 6/6/5 mana base.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just solidly 3 colors. And I had to get a little lucky, which I did. But it played out really well.
Yeah, it looks solid. Yeah. That one card, too, seems really good. The uncommon green-blue 3.
Oh, yeah,
whenever a land enters play, you gain a life and draw a card.
Yeah.
Tatuova.
That card was disgusting.
That card seems like it's an uncommon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's legendary.
Yep.
That card seems insane to me.
I had
the most busted.
Like it just seems if it lives, it's unbeatable.
Yep.
I had the most disgusting turn with it. I think I've already told you guys this, but I had cast Tatuova on turn 4 with the Llanowar Elves. My opponent did something else, like kind of sighed and couldn't kill it. Played my 5th land, drew a card. Kicked the ramp spell, got 2 untapped lands, drew 2 cards, used those to cast Destroy an Artifact, put a land into play, and drew a card. Pass. Untapped on turn 6 with like 9, 10 lands, 7 cards in hand.
Yeah. No, like that card.
Gross.
With like the amount of ramp in standard, like might end up seeing play like as a.
Yeah.
But is there enough payoff in ramp, without Ulamog? Like the option's Carnage Tyrant for standard? Well, we'll talk about it in a bit, but.
Yeah.
We'll talk about standard. Like, we'll just finish talking about limited.
Yeah. So I had a really bad first 2 events on the weekend. I went 1-3 into 1-2 drop. My first deck wasn't very good. It was bad. I tried to play. My pool wasn't that strong, so I kind of just played some bombs and some mediocre like filler and just tried to play a grindy strategy, which just didn't work out. My second deck, actually, I thought was really, really good. It was a green-white aggressive deck, but I just, like, rounds 2 and 3, I didn't really play much Magic, and variants kind of kicked my ass, which I hate saying because usually there's ways you can improve it, but, like, I didn't even play Magic in the 3rd round, so...
At its most egregious, you know what I mean? Like at the high ends of variance, like on the spectrum of variance.
There's like 100% snap keep hands, and then there's no land in the top 10 cards. And you lose
round right, like that's that happened. That's part of Magic.
Yeah, like round 1 in that event, I like rolled my opponent. It was not even remotely close, and my deck just had like a normal draws both games. So I'm like, okay, this tournament's going to go great. And it's just like, just kidding. You're not going to get to play. All right, sure. I'll go home then. How about that? But I had fun. The format is definitely interesting. That's how I don't know. It's hard to say because I've only played a few events. I don't know if it just feels like the format's really fun because Ixalan was such garbage or if it actually is that good.
I feel like
It's hard to say.
I feel like it's going to be fun because the games, like game to game, is going to be there's going to be more variance. Like it's going to be more unique games because of the unique effects on the various legendaries.
Yeah,
Which-
probably.
Which has also caused a lot of people. Like I still don't feel like I have a good grasp on the format. And I was talking to another couple like stronger players, and they were all saying like, yeah, I just can't tell. Like normally I can get a pretty good sense, but I want to play like 12 drafts of this before. Like I just don't think I'll be able to understand the format until then because there's so many competing, unique, strange effects.
Yeah, and formatting and rules struck like
That too.
It's like the ramp spell, even right. The one we were talking about, like those lands come into play untapped. That's not something we're used to anymore.
Yeah, grow from the ashes. The basic lands you get from it come into play untapped. With normally
They're
in
always
recent
tapped.
Hammer, they always
Right.
I
come
mean,
in
there are
tapped.
cards in the past, but now
Yeah.
it's been pretty standard for years now that they come into play tapped.
Which-
Right?
I think they did it as like a flavor thing. Like we're going back to Magic's history, we're going back to Dominaria, so some things are like templated differently. But it made me like normally, I read the cards once and a half and then kind of have an impression for what they do.
Yeah.
But I was rereading cards all
I have
weekend.
a good guess.
Yeah,
Like,
well, even a
DWC
card
tries to
like,
read.
like a card like Helm of the Host, which copies the creature it's enchanted with, creates a token copy.
Mhm.
That token just stays forever.
Yeah, I lost a game.
Yeah,
It doesn't get exiled.
I-
at the
assuming
end
it
of
would be
turn.
exiled. And
Sam,
like,
I thought it
not
would just
blocking
exiled and to turn like every other thing that makes.
Yeah, which is what we're kind of used to with effects like that. It creates a token
Unless
at the
it's a-
beginning of combat, then it gets exiled at the end of turn, at the end of combat. But that just doesn't happen with
Well,
this card.
Godfair was good, but that's a little different. as
Godfair's
well.
different. It's own in its own little world there. But
That's a bizarre card, though.
Yeah. But that was like my strongest lasting impression of the weekend is why is this worded like that? On multiple cards.
Why?
Fight with Fire can go face in a burn spell. That hasn't happened in a long time.
Yeah.
Why did the
For a
saga
lot.
why do the sagas trigger on beginning of first main? Like
oh
why
yeah,
are
they
Yeah,
trigger.
yeah,
that
yeah.
that was weird too. They don't trigger in your upkeep. They trigger after you draw your card.
yeah, in your first main, yeah. Which is
No, it's in your draw step.
it's
after
not in your draw step.
isn't it?
No. It's after the draw step, but not after you draw.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just
So it's in your first
immediately
main.
at the beginning. It's the first trigger
Okay,
in your
okay.
first
Yeah.
main. It's
Yeah.
almost like that. Like, yeah, it's just really weird. So, yeah, it's funny you say that because normally, like after like we'll do a pre-release and then maybe a couple drafts or something online, and like we'll sit down for the next episode and be like, all right, the format's gonna look like this. Here's like the best archetypes. We have like no idea. In fact, usually historically, if you go back and look at all the show note, like all our shows from the pre-releases, this episode is usually our archetypes and discussions about what we think the archetypes are.
Yeah.
We're not even come close to that. Like we spend
I have a pretty good idea of a few of them.
no, yeah, of course. But I'm
But,
saying like usually we have like a full
Yeah.
breakdown
Yeah.
that we provide listeners. Like we're gonna have to save that for like a week or two from now.
Or longer. Who knows?
Just as long as we gotta get it in before the Pro Tour so they can steal our exact ideas as usual.
Yeah. You need deadlines in life for the best work.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. From the few events I've watched online and stuff, Blue White Flyers seems very, very good.
Yeah. That's why my backup deck in the pool was a Blue White Flyers. 'Cause
Which deck is this that you're referencing? Which pool?
your crappy pool.
Yeah. So our topic for getting better is playing with bad sealed pools. Not that you should do it, but how to play with them.
Sometimes you just can't avoid it.
And at one of the pre-release events, I opened a pretty bad pool, like borderline, maybe one rare was playable. None of the colors were very deep, and so
Like two lands were rare.
Yeah,
like two of the
two
rares
rare
were
lands,
lands.
like-
Like that's
so
yeah.
I played the event and I built a deck, and then after I saved the pool, and
Your uncommons also weren't great, which is the difference
Yeah.
between like a pool that can be very, very good with no because like rares actually it's a myth. Like we've talked about this a million
it's
times
the
on the show.
uncommons, but
It's the uncommons.
so I built a deck and played with it. Some like actually went 3-1 somehow. I wasn't expecting that. Adam built a deck and a backup deck. Stelly built one. So later we'll talk about why the pool was bad, what we built, and we'll put the deck lists in the show notes.
Yeah, we'll put the whole sealed pool up and then what photos or whatever of what we built. Like I built a sort of like jankier control deck, but I think the Blue Eyed Fire's backup deck I have is like what I would have probably ended up playing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the green black Felds deck's probably good too.
Green, yeah.
I think the Sapperling deck is going to be one of the ones that like leaps farther ahead in draft than its sealed counterpart, just like any tribal deck does. But like, how often? Like, I mean, Slimefoot's strong, right? But if there's a Slimefoot in pack 2 or 3, like, and nobody has Sapperling payoffs, like he's kind of slow in draft. You'll get the pack 2 and 3 Slimefoots if you're in that archetype. Like the payoff seems so high.
But his fail state's like fine. It's just like a
Yeah.
normal card.
Yeah, but if I'm in a green black deck that's not Sapperlings, I don't know if I want a Slimefoot like pack 3.
I'm taking it.
You
If
are?
I'm just in green black?
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, well, it depends what the other cards are, but I mean, I will play that card. No question.
I mean, I guess it depends how aggressive the format is. It's just 4 mana for a 1/1 is so much.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, so was like Whirler Maker. I realized those were Thopters, and that's like infinitely better. But this also drains. And like, if it's like a ground game, like the game can just end.
Yeah, that's true.
I actually think the best blowout from the weekend, and it should be a blowout because we have, I guess, like,
Oh, yeah,
is
Massans?
the I
Okay.
think that's the best blowout
We'll
from the
save it.
entire pre-release weekend. But
That's true.
Like Slime, like that card can win games on its own.
All right.
In the same way that like think about what was it? It was called Whirler Maker, right?
Yeah.
The 4 mana artifact that you had to pay, or it's 3 mana
3 mana artifact. You paid 4 and you made a
paid
Thopter.
4 and you made a Thopter. Like that thing wasn't even a body, and like how many games did you lose that card?
Yeah, because it wasn't a body, because you couldn't kill it with anything.
Yeah, that is true. That is a different. Yeah, maybe that's better. But Slimefoot can attack
Yeah, that's true.
and drains.
I mean,
So, like,
can a
I'm
2/3
just
really
saying-
attack?
They're comparable cards,
Yeah, that's true.
and I think it's actually a very good card. And I think a lot of people are going to lose games to it. You know, when they're top decking and the person has that's game. So
Yeah, my opponent in the last tournament I played in had the Slimefoot Fungal Plots combo. Didn't matter because I beat him anyway with my Valak
is an
equipped with a
insane-
hexproof enchantment. But
Fungal plots seem
it was
really good.
good.
that is an
all weekend.
insane combo
Yeah.
in sealed. Holy.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, I'll make a Sapperling, block these, drain you, draw a card. Like this is cool. I want to be doing this.
Yeah, that's hype.
Yeah.
That's what I'm about. I want to do that. I want to do that in standard. Just dirtle and drain and do nothing. That seems great.
Wasn't there a Sapperling deck that 5-0'd on Moto, or someone posted a Sapperling deck?
Yeah. Oh, like it's funny. Like when Thalids were first around back in like the dark or whatever. I have some from when I was a kid. You know, they were so bad because creatures back then were just like atrocious, right? But they were bad for even that. Like I think one of the Thalids, I wish I could remember the exact ruling, but I'm pretty sure it's a green 1/1 for one that I think at the beginning of your upkeep, you put a counter on it. And then when it has 3 counters on it, you make a 1/1 Sapperling. So like over 3 turns, you get a 1/1. It's so bad. Like, and there's a bunch of cards like the old Thalids and stuff are really bad. So, but it's cool to see them back and maybe actually be playable. I don't know. They seem actually not bad. Like there's some
That was
good,
really good. Yeah.
like the Fungal Plots thing seems like it with Vicious Offering. Like they can kill like -5/-5.
Gets
Yeah.
most things in the format.
And then you have
Gets
like,
Glorybringer and Scarab God. I mean, it's not getting rid of Scarab God, but you know, it kills everything in the format.
and you have like solid commons in the 2-drop. Make 2 1/1 Sapperlings, but it also has kicker 4 to make 4 of them.
Yeah, for late game,
It's
that's
good
very-
early and late. And
Yeah.
then there's the 4 mana instant one that makes 3 Sapperlings.
Yeah, like I think there's even a 2 mana guy that like when it dies, it makes some like
Well, there's the 3 mana black one that 3/2 when it dies, it makes a
that one's not
Sapperling.
good enough for standard.
No. And then there's the classic, the Jungleborn pioneer of this format, the 3 mana 2/2 that makes a
That one's
1/1
pretty
Sapperling.
borderline as well. 3 drops, like you in standard, the barrier for entry for 3 drops is like so incredibly high.
Yeah.
Because think about like every 3 drop in standard that's good. They're all busted.
Or
Right.
banned.
Or banned. Yeah, like Rogue Refiner. But like, what are like the defining 3 drops in standard? They're all just insane. Like Whirler Virtuoso and License Disintegration,
and License-
Pia Nalar. There's a bunch more.
Aether Sphere Harvester.
Yeah, like there's a bunch that we're just like forgetting. But
Yeah.
yeah, they're all just like crazy. Like, but yeah, usually the barrier for entry for a 3 drop is like super, super high in standard. So, Champion of Wits,
Oh, yeah.
you know, like,
Yeah, man.
so you gotta, it's hard to find a good 3 drop. You better get a lot out of it at that point. Like the barrier for entry in standard is just so high in general.
Speaking of fungal plots, which we were kind of on the topic of, the like second impression that I got from this format is that it's similar to Kaladesh in that you would main deck artifact removal in that set because everybody played artifacts. And so I think if you are in green or white, every deck I play in this limited format is going to have some artifact or enchantment removal because there's enough random equipment around that are playable. And this, you need to get rid of sagas, you need to get rid of things like fungal plots. Like
Yeah.
after
A card like Broken Bond is
it's very playable.
Playable. in the
After
main
my
deck.
first event,
Yeah.
I started keeping 1 to 2 of these effects in every one of my decks, and they were never dead.
Mhm. Ice Manipulator is something you always
Oh
want
yeah,
to
you
kill.
need to get out from
Yeah,
Icy Manipulator.
that card is very good,
So, yeah.
obviously.
Would recommend not going into a game of this format without some sort of
Like,
removal for those.
you can play that card in every deck,
Yes.
right? It's like Edifice, you know?
Mhm.
I mean, you can just put it in every deck. You'll play it if you're aggressive, if you're slow, like, it doesn't matter. That card's insane.
Yeah, it's very good. I had 2 of them in my first deck, and I could line it up with Time of Ice to bounce a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about this,
Yeah.
where you set up like a huge bounce with Icy, and you like, yeah, that was a standard playable card back in Ice Age as well.
Well, I actually didn't block because I didn't want to trade my creatures because I was going to bounce a bunch of his things. And then the turn before my Time of Ice went off, he had listened to what I said now and then went back in time and he removed my Time of Ice and I died.
That's funny.
But there was another time where I bounced like 2 things and it was pretty good.
But like maybe this weekend I'll go play the release weekend, you know, and get some games in so I don't feel like out of touch.
Mm-hmm.
But I've watched a bunch of drafts already, and like I know the form. You know what I mean? Like I'm paying attention, talking to people about it. Dave said he played Blue Red Wizards both times, and that was an okay archetype as well.
The one time I saw him playing, he had a Siege Gang commander who was just crumpling his opponent. So
His words to me were, my deck wasn't great. I just outplayed everyone. I was like, yeah, I bet. Deck
No.
probably busted out of control.
yeah, I watched him just attack with Siege Gang and they like blocked. He's like, okay, take 3, shoot you for 6. And I'm like, oh, okay. He
Outplayed.
just goes, good game, sticks his hand out.
Outplayed. But no, he
Man,
said it was good. Like the Blue Red Wizards deck was like actually pretty good. Like it was tricky.
Yeah.
Like you could do a lot of.
A bunch of my pools, I saw a card, like as I was opening the packs, I'm like, oh, maybe I could go Blue Red Wizards. This seems powerful. And then the support just wasn't ever deep enough.
I think you only get it in draft most of the time. Like
Right.
it's a very specific archetype that you're going to want to fight over in draft. But it seems like it'll be very good. It also seems like a deck all 3 of us would like to play in draft. So.
Oh, yeah. But it's one of those decks that, like, if your sealed pool can support it, you'll probably crumple everybody.
Oh, it's going to be a slaughter.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those times where, like, your sale pool is just on a whole nother level and your opponents just have no chance. Yeah.
Yeah, this
It-
might be.
It's like,
blue red from Hour of Devastation. I think blue red in this format is very similar to that deck.
yeah, it might be like, but in sealed, getting it is like,
In sealed, it's like not possible. I don't
it's
think.
good, like a unicorn. It can happen. Like, do you remember that deck? Was it Felix who went 9-0 in Zendikar era where he just had all the like human synergy?
Oh, back in GP
Toronto
Montreal.
or Montreal, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had
Yeah.
like Dahlia, but
Yeah,
like
I
that was
remember.
his only rare. But then he had just like all the humans that stacked with everything, and like
Yeah, and everyone
That's
was
a-
saying, "Well, wow, his deck was so bad." And then we actually looked at the deck list, and we're like, "This
no,
is
I was
this
like
is
yelling.
insane.
I
There's
was
so
like, no,
much
this
synergy."
deck's insane.
Yeah.
But like I remember, Mike was like, well, there's no bomb rares like all them. I'm like, no, but like actually just look at the deck. It's actually insane. Like it's
Mhm.
so good because that's the unicorn where like your sealed pool just has like perfect synergy. So like someone got that synergy this weekend. Like it happens, right?
Yeah.
Where someone opens like the Wizards deck and all their Wizards have like +1/+1. They all flash. Like no one can do anything. Like if you attack, like some wizard just flashes in and eats your whole board.
You know
like,
what's actually okay? So, like, a wizard I was really impressed with. If you need cards, visit wizardtower.com.
you can get your wizards at Wizard
At Wizard
Tower.
Tower. Yeah. Shipping on singles in Canada.
All right, that's pretty good. Do you think people think who listen to this show? Yeah, so, dude, listen to the show that
It's like, how are they going to fit it in this week?
we plan in the ad spot.
If
at all?
anybody thinks we plan anything about this show, they're fools.
because it literally just pops into someone's head as we're.
Oh, yeah.
Like we don't plan. I think that's a way
We plan a
cooler.
little bit, but
Not this time. not
this
most
one. No,
times.
never the ad spot.
Oh no,
I mean, we have, like, a couple show
No, we
notes.
plan the show,
Yeah.
like the show itself. But when we put the ad spot in and like how we,
It's all organic.
it's just totally organic,
Gluten-free.
Yeah, just come and get it fresh here. I think it's funny though. I think I talked about this like a long time ago, where I can't remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah, it was like so Thorin, like it's this really popular esports journalist, like one of the most popular esports journalists, and he would do these ad spots at the beginning of his videos, and they're always at the beginning, but he like wouldn't let the sponsor tell him what he was supposed to say, and so instead he would just come up with these like weird tangential rants that he would tie in to the sponsorship, like in some roundabout weird way, and he would give this like philosophical speech on like some subject matter and then tie it in with like and gamble on esports at this website, right? Like, and he would tie it in somehow. And there were always these like really endearing or like funny and thoughtful ad spots. And so I remember we mentioned like a year ago or whatever, like a long time ago when we started, I was like, no, we should do them like that. We should do them like totally, you know what I mean? Because I think it's way better. So, but that one was like out of the blue. I did not see that one coming. We should have a thing where like people can guess, if people can correctly guess when the ad spot's gonna be. It's like a guess where how many jelly beans are in there. Like at what time in the episode will the ad spot happen? You can gamble on it. Like, does it happen under 20 minutes? Like, is it more forced? Is it off an accidental pun?
Yeah.
We can have a whole gambling. All right, I'm off topic here, but like, we can have a whole gambling kind of like line on over unders about a bunch of our ad spots. Contact me to place bets. I'm now the bookie for DWC.
Oh man. Also, speaking of wizards, did you see the blue-red wizards deck that 5-0'd?
No.
So,
Like for standard?
yeah, Spellweaver Eternal has made its way into standard.
Is it a wizard? Is it a zombie wizard?
It's a zombie Naga wizard.
Oh.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That card is awesome.
Yeah.
We've killed a lot of people with that card in limited.
Yeah.
Better build a standard deck around it.
And it's playing cards like Soulscar Mage is a wizard, and then Spellweaver Eternal, and then the new blue-red wizard that whenever you cast an instant sorcery, all your wizards get +1/+1.
The Cinderwind.
Yeah.
What?
It's a 3-mana, 2/2 haste, flying, I think. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery.
Is it called Cinderwind?
Something the Cinderwind.
That's a hype name.
Yeah.
This one.
Adeliz. Adeliz?
The Cinderwind. Flying haste.
Adeliz.
I don't know.
Adeliz.
Yeah. I was watching Jim Davis stream it the other day.
That seems wild.
It was wild.
That's pretty cool. I can get on board with this. Man, I guess we're kind of done talking about limited for now. Can we talk about the joy that looks like standard might be?
Oh, yeah.
With like no Pro Tour too? To condense the format, like standard looks.
Pro Tour's not for a while.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
it's a while away.
Mm-hmm.
Standard looks wild.
What have the 5-0s been so far?
There's been like a mono blue deck, a mono white deck,
right, mono blue, mono
Esper
white.
Tap out, maybe flash if it has the flash guy.
Yeah. Wizards, Saprolings, like it's still mono red, green, like
Mono green.
yeah. Dinos are like a deck now that's apparently doing well.
Yeah, standards like just seems crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, new cards will do that to people, but that's good. Usually, like though, the Pro Tour is
New cards will do
a
that
week
to
and a half
people.
from now, and then everyone just plays the same 3 decks.
New cards will do that to people, but when was the last time that this many new cards 5-0'd this many different archetypes?
Been a while,
Yeah.
especially this late, this deep into a standard set. Like we're in a big standard.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it's
like,
hard
we're
for
one
cards to
away
make a
from the
splash.
biggest,
Yeah.
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 right? Because Magic 2018 or whatever.
The core set
joins,
and then it rotates on the next one.
Yeah, the core set's the final one for the standard set. So like this is already big standard, almost the biggest standard. We're one set away. So like for cards to have this kind of impact and change on the format is a big deal. It only took them banning 7 cards and having 2 years of Trainwreck standard, but like standard looks great right now. It looks really innovative. It looks like you can play lots of different stuff.
I mean, it's been great for a while.
No, yeah, I think it's been great for like 4 months, like since the bannings, basically. It's just that unfortunately no one else seems to have realized. But I think definitely it's something worth like championing. Standard seems great right now. You know what doesn't seem great? Brawl.
Oh, the results from Brawl look
That looks
miserable.
miserable. In nice format.
Did you see?
You mean Baral?
Oh, yeah.
Got him.
Another wizard.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wizard's OP.
Yeah, I've seen a couple people streaming it and like just never like playing a Baral deck and you just don't lose to non-Baral decks.
Right, like it's not even close.
I don't know.
I was looking at the top like 16 decks, and like the first 10 were just 10 Brawl decks. I was like, cool.
And
Nice
then
format.
finally a Scarab God. And then
There was
the rest
like-
were Brawl.
No, and then there was like a Nico Bolas.
Oh, yeah.
And there was one Galta.
Right.
1 or 2 Galta.
Yeah, I
It
think
just looks awful. It's dumb. Like, it's a dumb. It's not.
Yeah,
gonna-
Moto ruined the format day one.
Yeah,
when
everyone just played Brawl and
Brawl.
But another wizard for your sweet standard deck to make your spells cheaper, so your Cinderwind can get it done.
Yeah, man.
I don't know what I would play in standard right now. Like I still, so my goal for the next week, not maybe by Friday if I can build the deck in time, like it's Wednesday now, is to play the green-black ramp deck I was talking about,
Mhm.
which is Carnage Tyrants at the top end, like Llanowar Elves,
I
Carnage
do
Tyrants,
like that card.
and just try and get to Carnage Tyrant as fast as I can, and then I don't know, figure it out from there.
Oh man, we
Are you
didn't
gonna
have
play
we didn't have an episode last week, but I didn't get to talk about my PPTQ.
Oh, yeah.
Where
Oh yeah,
I
But you also qualified.
The 2 weeks
so
that was.
How did we forget about that? And you played Standard.
I played Standard, played Black Red Vehicles, basically
Jerry
the
Thompson.
same deck that Jerry Thompson
That deck's
top hated with. And I lost in the finals of yet another PPTQ to a friend of the show, Evan
Man,
Barry.
You lose in way too many in
Yeah,
the
I
finals.
lose in the finals way too
But
often.
you didn't really lose in the finals.
No, because Evan, after the event, invited me to go play with him because it's for the team RPTQ. So I still qualified for the RPTQ.
So now all of the DWC is playing in the team RPTQ.
Qualifying purely
Got
off
there.
charisma.
Yeah, exactly. Of our charming and debonair ways. Hello, sir. I see you have an invite there.
So speaking of that, like
You're looking for a friend.
during the finals, as they were like shuffling up for game 2 or something, Evan was asking like, who else around here is qualified? And we mentioned Benson. And he's like, oh, who's Benson taking? And someone's like, oh, they invited.
And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, Adam and Cam.
And then Evan's just like, really called in the ringers.
Bringing out the heavy hitters. Adam coming out of retirement to smash this RPTQ.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I haven't played an RPTQ yet because like I already mentioned, I just lose in the finals all the time. So
Yeah, do we get a sweet promo for each of us?
I think so,
That's nuts.
right?
That's the sweetest plum.
It's crazy.
How is Wizard giving up value for once? What the?
what is the promo?
I don't know.
Probably garbage. They probably lined it up so it's
No,
good.
they're always good.
No,
right?
I know. I'm actually just shocked. There's no way they're giving it to 3. There's no way.
Why not?
I don't know. I just can't see WotC not being cheapskates
Yeah.
with the
What?
cards they print at free value. Yeah, but like, there's so many standard decks I want to try. I really do want to try the Carnage Tyrant deck. I think it can line up really well. Like, I think it has good sideboard options, and by sideboard options, I mean various enchantments that you can put on your Carnage Tyrant.
Yeah.
Like, that's
What's the
like cartouches, like
It's Noble Hierarch.
That's wild.
That's just a solid buck right there.
Yeah, that's
Solid amount of bucks.
Yeah, that is great.
Big fan.
Right on. Right on. Well, if we all get one, that is great. But yeah, there's just a lot of auras and that you can just, that's your sideboard strategy. I'm going to put auras on my Carnage Tyrant.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cartouche, like Black Cartouche versus Red is just like laughable. Game basically over.
Oh, they can't win.
Yeah, like,
Gotta cast that Carnage Tyrant first, though.
I mean, with like Llanowar Elves and all these ramp spells. Yeah, sure.
Use chump block with your zombies off Hour
Man,
Promise.
your Llanowar Elves is dying to Goblin Chain Whirler every time, man.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah, but you've already cast zombie, like Hour Promise. Chainlure comes down on 3. You ramped and then cast Hour of Promise.
He's just on the play every game forever.
Yeah. Because we are only losing. Catching L's.
What's that?
That should be our motto. DWC, always on the play. How to get better at Magic lose so you can win game 2 by being on the play. But I mean, even if it dies, hopefully you got your 2 or 3 mana ramp spell or your 3 mana ramp spell out of it, right? So
Let's hope.
let's hope otherwise that Chain Whirler about to kick its teeth in.
Yeah.
That card's sweet. But although it didn't show up in any of the Moto lists yet, but it's a matter of time, I think.
We've had like one published.
I know,
right now.
exactly. And they're probably just hiding it because they don't want another 3 drop that they had to ban like Ferocidon.
Man, I've already heard people talking about that it should be banned because it's going to warp the format so much. I'm like, man, come on. We don't need any more.
Get out of
it.
it. Get that attitude out
Yeah.
of here, man. Like,
I don't it's just people, oh, this card's going to warp the format. It needs to be banned.
it's a
No, it
triple red
doesn't.
3 mana 3/3 that deals 1. Like, if you can't build your deck or you fold to it, like, so what? Like, your lots of decks fold to other things that have similar kind of power level against what you're doing. Like, too bad. You don't just get to, like, this is like a pretty lengthy aside, but I'll try and keep it short. But like, look what happened when they only banned a few cards. They banned enough that everything just slowly kept consolidating towards one deck, like energy decks, right? And then they ended up just having to ban everything. Like, if you start banning like picks here and there in standard, a format that isn't kind of like powerful all around, it only leaves like 1 or 2 options for everything to slowly consolidate before it becomes like a complete hellscape, which is what happened.
Mhm.
Like it went from being like just energy decks to just Scarab God decks, and then finally the format had room to breathe when people figured out how to beat those Scarab God decks, like at the very end of the format, like 2 weeks left. But like we went through hell for like a long time because like they couldn't figure out like the correct bannings. So like you can't just willy-nilly ban, because then they'll just go to the next, like they'll slowly consolidate towards the best possible card combinations. Like you need your X1s to lose to something. That's what I'm getting at. Like there needs to be like, I mean, if you can't beat a 3-mana 3/3 red creature, then like, okay, like change your deck. Red's not going to be that good.
I don't know. I just heard people making the comment that it's like more offensive than Ferocidon ever was, and will like warp the format more than that card did, and that card's already banned.
I mean, it probably is. Like Ferocidon, like was only good because it was against Whirler Virtuoso. That's why, like, they banned it like preemptively, quote unquote, to be safe.
Yeah.
In their justification, when they banned Attune, they also banned it because they said, well, mono red's the other best deck, and we can't just leave it completely to be the only deck left. So they did it out of a sort of safety measure, right? Like Ferocidon didn't get banned because it was just like warping everything completely. It got banned because they needed to kill something, right? From like if it was legal right now, I don't think it'd matter anymore.
You don't think so?
No, God no.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're not.
Like Whirler Virtuoso decks they're not dominant. It's fine.
I don't think it was because of Whirler Virtuoso that card got banned.
No, but that's why it was seeing so much play. That's why it became a staple card.
Yeah, but
Like it used to be a sideboard card. People moved it to the main because Whirler Virtuoso was like the only card that mattered out of Teamer Energy versus Mono Red, which is what the format devolved to.
Okay.
So like, I don't even think that card was that bad. Like, I think they just don't want to ban Hazards. Like they don't want to have to ban any more mythics that people spent $1 billion on.
Yeah, man. Speaking of Hazards, I played that card for the first time in that PPTQ.
Yeah, I remember you talking.
Man, I'm gonna play that card as much as I possibly can from now on.
It's a wild ride.
It is
It's
disgusting.
it's insane. Like it's
To like illustrate its power level, there was another player there at the PPTQ playing Mardu, and they were playing against another friend of ours on blue-black, and the blue-black player had managed to draw and cast 3 Vraska's Contempt in a row, exiling Hazaret, Rekindling Phoenix, and then a second Hazaret. And the red player was like, man, I hate that card. Like, it's so unfun. Like, I just can't beat Vraska's Contempt. Like, come on, man. Like, and then the game continued for another, 5 or 6 turns. It's still, like, close. Whereas if he had only drawn 2 Vraska's Contempts and not 3, that Hazaret 100% kills him. You just start discarding card and attacking and you lose. Like,
yeah, I thought that was me and Cam were laughing about that comment. Like,
right, you're complaining about the wrong card.
You're complaining about an answer that like everyone's forced to play for Vraska's Contempt because like if they don't have the answer to Hazaret, they are dead.
Right, you're
like,
complaining.
The game is over.
You're complaining in a scenario where, you drew 3 copies of your only card that like lets you win here. Wow, the card's too strong, man.
Also, it's like you're complaining about Vraska's Contempt letting the game continue. They didn't auto lose.
Yeah,
that's how offensive Hazaret is. Like
I had
that card's. How many games you just like slam it and they're just stone dead?
Couple.
When you play.
Enough.
In that same
right,
tournament.
especially because you have unlicensed in red black that it's like even more offensive. They're already low.
It was great.
Yeah, it's like it's so obnoxious.
Man, Unlicensed was a card I got to love playing again, man.
Oh yeah, I played
so many people
at FNM the week before that as well. The night before that PPTQ, I played against that deck, and I was playing Grixis Thopters, crushed them. But that matchup was close. So normally like the Mardu matchup for Grixis Thopters is like a joke. It's so easy because they can't beat like 8 cards in your deck. They can't beat Maverick Thopters and they can't beat what's it called? Whirler Virtuoso, right? But with Unlicensed Disintegration and Hazaret, man, holy, like it's really annoying. So the red-black version seemed to like just be way more aggressive on that front because of like inventors too. Like it was really annoying.
That was great.
Still smashed them, but Thopters OP, dude. Yeah. Hazaret is a card you should play more. And probably in Modern.
You can play it in Modern.
I know. I've been saying this for like months on the podcast, and people started like finally. Because it's nuts.
What's the perfect Modern deck? Hazaret, Collective Brutality.
Oh, like you mean the modern cards that are just like the best in the format?
If we just take all the things we've been saying should see more play in Modern and put them into a deck,
you see,
we'll probably just crumple
that's called synergy, playing Collective Brutality and Hazard too.
Yeah.
You get to discard your card.
And then you get to attack.
Yeah.
Because your hand's low. Yeah, so we just play like a Jund deck with this.
Jund Death Shadow.
Oh,
You traverse for your Hazard.
Ooh. That is strong.
this deck's probably really bad.
He just plays Goyf, Hazard, Collective Brutality, Thoughtseize, Inquisition, Traverse, Mishra's Bauble.
You know what's a combo with getting your Hazard to attack? Ticking up Lily of the Veil.
Yeah, Lily, playing Teamer Battle Rage. Yeah, this deck nuts.
Yeah, this deck's unbeatable.
Yeah, we broke it. All right, next format. All right, we should change our minds about Toronto. So now we actually have information. Maybe we should think about going.
Modern, easy. Dominaria Limited, too hard.
Too much thought.
When is Toronto?
May
18th?
18th? We still have like 3 weeks. Maybe we should consider it, actually.
The person we were going to go with has a different team now because we were waffling around on whether we wanted to go.
They big leagued us.
Yeah.
Well, it's because, we waffled pretty hard.
I'm still not sure I want to spend $90 to play.
I know.
I should be getting my schedule for my new job soon, so maybe if I have it off. I don't know.
If you have it off. If the DWC goes as a team, I would consider going much more.
Yeah, all right.
If the DWC is going as a team and we can all just like have our sweet DWC sleeves that like our one at like
oh yeah,
Trevor got us like.
Dude, on 60 card decks though, those things will be massive.
Yeah, it's true actually. But still we can
I definitely don't have enough sleeves for that.
No. Well, whatever. We can all wear like DWC shirts or something stupid.
Get Ted to print us some.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we should figure out what order we're going to be sitting in. And one person's shirt has a D. The other person's shirt has a W.
Yeah, it'd be good. I don't know. Yeah, it'd just be fun. Like that's the only reason I'd want to go. You know what I mean?
I haven't played in a Grand Prix in a while.
Yeah, me neither. And also, like it would just be fun as a team. Team events are fun. And if we scrub out, we just play in side events and just like goof around.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Once
We'll let
I
you
know my
know.
work
We'll continue waffling around. And then you can come hang out with us at.
We can just big league all our opponents.
And if we
sit down and give them a card, like listen to our podcast.
Yeah. And if we scrub out on day one, we'll host a DWC pub night at like karaoke or something on Saturday. If we scrub out, just like come get drunk with the you know what I mean? Come sing karaoke with the DWC.
And no one will come.
No one will come. It'll just be us and get cut off.
That'll be the blowout.
The blowout is 3 of us went to a dingy pub and the waitress told us to get out.
All right, let's start talking about how to play with bad sealed pulls because we're deep into this right now. Let's go. All right,
we got to make up for missing an episode.
2-hour feature. No.
All right, how to play with bad sealed pulls. Cam, go.
All right. There's not really a good. It's a hard thing to deal with. Yeah, it's just not great.
Just give up.
Generally, I think. So my philosophy when dealing with bad sealed pools is that because it's a bad pool, you don't have strong cards, you don't have bombs, you don't have things that you want to put in your deck, and your opponents will. So if the game goes late, they will draw these cards that you can't answer because you don't have good removal, or can't compete with because you don't have equivalently good bombs. So then the next thing that I go to is if I can't compete late game, I need to compete early. If my opponents have good cards that cost, 5 or more, they're going to be trying to make the game go a bit late or their deck's going to be a bit slower. So I generally try and build as aggressive as I can. Look for 2-drops because the most powerful 2-drops are commons and uncommons. And try and win that way. Just try and find the colors I can with the most 2-drops, the most removal, and the most reasonable aggressive deck, which is why from this pool I played a red-white aggro deck. And it worked all right. Just attacked some people, went 3-1. What's your strategy?
For building with bad sealed pools?
Yeah.
What I did with my my third deck there in the third tournament I played, the pool was pretty rough. I just found I didn't have any really playable rares, so I found the best uncommons that were in my pool and tried to find a way to maximize the potential of those cards. So I had double Val deck in my pool. So I'm like, okay, where are my best enchantments? They were spread out across basically red and blue. But so I made sure I was playing that. But then my other good uncommons were in green. And green had the closest amount of cards to being a base color. So I did basically a 3-color split, but I tried to build my deck so my uncommons had the most potential of stealing games.
So you went with sort of like you tried to make up for the low power level by being greedy, by hoping that these like few synergies, you draw them every game, by hoping that your mana would be fine so that you could exploit these synergies.
Yeah.
You were just greedier to make up for it.
The mana was the definite weakness of the deck, but the deck was greedy enough that, you know, if it worked out, it was super powerful.
Yeah, just pop off.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we got Wrath, we got Greed. Adam?
So it depends on obviously it's a case by case basis because sealed pools are bad in different ways. Like they're, you know, unique in their terribleness. So yeah, it depends, but often I will employ the same exact strategy Alex was talking about. I think those ones are sealed decks that are actually quite salvageable because you have to get greedy in a longer tournament anyway, something like a GP to win. To do very well, you have to get lucky anyway. So I think you should go. I think that's almost the correct build regardless in some ways. Like I will give this advice to people that are playing in like sealed GPs, like build the greediest, like build a greedy deck. Go for broke. Even Scott was talking about this at Vegas where he went, you know, 9-0 or whatever on day one. He was like, yeah, I just built like the greediest, like high-end sealed deck. Because that was when we were arguing about forgoing 2-drops or not, basically, if they're not good 2-drops. And he won't play like a vanilla 2-mana 2/2.
Yeah, he won't even consider them as just curve filler.
Which I don't think is correct, actually. It's, again, format dependent. But, yeah, like, I think greed is, like, how you win anyway. But there are, like, sealed pools that are so bad that, like, there is nothing greedy to even go for. Like, I mean, there's no bombs, there's no payoff, right? Like, there's no synergy. And so with yours, it was sort of like, I tried to do that in the first iteration of the deck I built, which we'll have a post for, where it was sort of like, okay, I guess like Slimewood's a good uncommon, and these flyers might win, the blue flyers might win me the game. So I'm going to play a way that I can find them and buy time to clog up the board and get there, and then play a way to recur them, which was my game plan. Like if my 2 or 3 win conditions die, like I can't win, so I need to also play this green card that returns permanents to your hand, and then use the dumb mythic blue wizard to cast it twice because I need to get back 2 things if I'm gonna have a chance, and just go for like this like card advantage game plan. The other option in sealed pools that are like bad but still maybe have a reasonable amount of filler is like filler's not that bad. Like you can win games with a 3-mana 3/3 or like a 3-mana 2/2 or 3/2. Sorry, you know, like those cards win games. Like those are just bread and butter of limited. So like. The other option, which is probably the better deck, which you'll also post. I think we took a photo of it.
Yeah, the blue-white one.
It's just like blue-white flyers. Like the curve is good. It has like 2-drops that can be aggressive. It has flyers. It has a Sarah Angel. You know, it has some removal. Like it's not good. There's not like bombs, but like if they don't draw theirs or they don't have like a really synergistic draw, like that can win. I've like done well at sealed events with just like bad medium filler cards and blue-white flyers because they have evasion. So like that's another way to salvage your deck is like, okay, well, my deck doesn't really have any synergy. It isn't hyper aggressive, you know.
Yeah.
Like, or it might have some synergy, but it's not enough. So I'm just gonna look for this like generic curve and just hope to like curve and hit them with evasion. Like that's another way. Like you just have to look for like the 1 or 2 strengths, I guess, you have in your pool. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think every pool has something that it can start to do well. Usually people will say like, oh, this pool's bad because my colors aren't deep, which just means like, oh, I have the beginnings of some flying synergies in white, but there's like not enough to fill it with. Or I have the beginnings of some saprolings in green, but not enough good green cards outside of those. And so then I think you just have to pick, which like 2-color combination you want to try and exploit from those like minimal synergy cards you have. And then the question is just, what do you fill it with? I guess I go to fill it with some more aggressive things. Again, another thinking behind the aggressive is I only played 15 lands, thinking that my cards are all worse than my opponents. But if I'm playing less lands and I have one more non-land card than them, then like maybe I can gang up and compete.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and your build is also like very good. Like I think that this was like a cool experiment as well to post in that like your pool's not great in the sense there's no like obvious build, no bombs, but we also like. And also, again, it's a new format. We might not see it. Maybe there is like a crazy deck in your pool and we missed it because we're new in this format we're not used to. But like This is a cool experiment, I think, for people to see as well. And that, like, we built, here's some different decks we built from, like,
and I don't think it's clear which of the 4 decks we built is best,
no, it's definitely
or even
not
how
clear.
they line up with each other.
Well, yeah, it's particularly hard with your pool because there's no, like, all your rares are pretty bad, so there's nothing really drawing you to a specific color, like, by default.
Yeah.
You could really just, like, there was so many combinations you could have gone with that deck and you had no, like, incredible, it's not like you had a super powerful planeswalker in one color that was pulling you to that. There just wasn't anything.
And your uncommons weren't even...
His uncommons were fine.
They're like, okay, but not enough to pull you in any particular and there was no synergy. It was like your rares were all these like Wizard Matters cards, but you had no other cards for them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was sort of like you had these Historic Matters cards, but not really enough to like pull it all together.
Yeah, and like if you were to play things like there was Historic Matters cards, but then the artifacts you would have to play to enable those weren't great.
Yeah.
Like
because they were like the ramp one, like you had 2 of the ramp one, which you had nothing to ramp to.
It was the start of like 6 decks. And the finish to none of them.
And that happens. Like that definitely happens. Like, you know, rare lands. Like it's just a combination where there's nothing particularly great. So you sort of have to find a way to, there's various strategies. And I think it's cool. Like we all employed these like different approaches. So like there's always a way, I guess, to salvage it, right? Like,
Like
and also like
when I built your pool, I just I played 3 colors, tried to play the best uncommons I could find, and then as much removal as I could.
Yeah, that's like one of the safest routes. Like I'm just gonna play all my removal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But also you're on a time limit when you're building. So we kind of tried to replicate that too. Like I also did it with like not knowing the full spoiler just like before the show started where I was like reading cards like I was at a pre-release. It'd be different if we were like, this was a GP because I'd have way more practice and feel way more comfortable. So like bear in mind when you're looking at this is for like pre-release pool where I didn't even know the card. I don't even know all the cards yet because I was too busy.
Yeah, and this was like, this hasn't happened to me a lot, but for all 3 pre-release events I played in, I took the full like 50 minutes to build my deck because every single one, I was like, there was so many ways I could take it and there was no like definitive answer as to what was right. So it took me forever to figure out what I wanted to do. And, you know, I don't know, like maybe it was being unlucky or maybe it's just how this format's going to shape out. There's just a lot of different powerful strategies you can take in every color and like, I don't know.
I think that's a good thing. That's sweet. It means the formats might end up being like really deep and evolve, and it won't be stale quickly. Like it could be really cool because there's all these like unique combination of cards because of like how the historic lines up, how artifacts line up, how wizards line. Like there's all these tribes of archetypes. Like it could be a really cool set in that way. Like there's a lot to learn, I suppose. So I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, a lot of it is due to it being the first time playing these cards, but
I mean that happens with Ixalan and other
builds.
Sets in the last couple of years, and we instantly are like, here's the best cards. Like we knew right away, like we were like, these are the best cards, these are the best archetypes. Obviously, this is like a first pick uncommon, first pick common, like you know what I mean. Whereas this set, like I'm not sure yet. So looking forward to getting some limited games under my belt and some standard games.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have like a standout card from the weekend?
Standout card. Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm not gonna pick a rare.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Shauna, CSA's Legacy.
Okay.
That card was very, very good.
It's basically a rare.
And then Valduk, the red on legendary uncommon. Both those cards were really impressive for me.
I'd also like to point out that it is a rare, but isn't Helm of the Host just like unbeatable?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's close to
that was immediately what I thought of, but then I decided
that card's just bananas, right?
Yeah.
Because the token sticks around.
Yeah.
Helm of the Host is bonkers.
Yep.
Yeah.
First pick it if you open it.
I think the card I'm going to go with is Grow from Ashes. Or Grow from the Ashes, whatever it's called.
The Find 2 lands untapped?
The Find 2 lands untapped when you kick it, which you can always...
Because you don't want to go for a rare, is what you're saying?
Well, even outside of that, like, the fact that this is a format where, like, blue feels like a support color. And so, I feel like this is a format where you're going to want to splash, like, a powerful uncommon, but you don't want to be, like, playing that color consistently, right? Like, you open a powerful uncommon pack 3 and you want to splash it, like, or you just want to splash things in sealed, which is common. It enables so many of these strategies that it's 2 lands untapped. You're not taking off your entire turn just to cast a ramp spell. You get to do something afterwards. And the fact that it gets you to casting your spells with kicker so much faster than your opponent. I was really impressed with that card. Every time someone cast it against me or I cast it, I was like, that doesn't even feel like a ramp spell. It just like,
Yeah.
you're going to start crumpling me now with like kick spells. And
No, I agree. I think that card impressed me as well. It was good.
yeah, it performed so much better than I expected a 3-mana ramp effect to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So, want to give the blowout of the week?
Okay, what's his name?
We have a couple. We'll share it. We'll see if we can use the other one for next week. But Hassan's is like,
Yeah, so a friend of ours, Hassan, also had kind of a medium sealed pool, so he ended up playing like a green-black ramp deck because one of his, it's a rare, right? What's his name? Grun?
Oh, it's an uncommon.
Oh, it's an uncommon.
The green ape king.
Yeah,
Grun the Lonely King.
The Lonely King. So he's like, that's one of my best cards. Like, all I have is like a couple big beaters.
yeah, just big ground beaters.
Right.
Just like his
I've got,
deck,
like-
which like he can win games. He won some games.
I've got some small green and black guys and like ramp and big beaters. That's like all I have. And my pool's not great. I got 3 removal spells. And he was playing against a Slimefoot deck. And he had kicked Grun. So he had a 10-10, which attacks as a 20-20. But he's sitting there like head in his hands. And he's like, I've used all 3 of my removal spells. Like looks at his graveyard. He's like, yeah, that's 3 of them. That's all of them. Can't draw any more. And his opponent like played Slimefoot with 8 lands. And he's like, well, this Grun doesn't have trample. If I attack, I'm going to take 1. If I don't attack, I'm going to get attacked and take 1. Then he just like conceded.
Yeah, he like tanked for like 5 minutes. Like kept looking at his graveyard to make sure all 3 removal spells were in his graveyard. And then just scooped
I think he attacked 1 turn with like Grun and something else.
to see what his opponent
And
would
his
do.
opponent's like, make 2 guys block, you lose 2. And he's like, yeah. The next turn, like tanked. Okay, you win.
It's so funny, man. Just like got this big 10-10. I'm huge. Yeah, I just lose to this guy who makes 1/1
Make
slot.
a plant.
I don't understand how you could be a 10-10 and lose to plants. It's so good, man. It cracks me up. Yeah, it's just a funny one, like classic, like, oh yeah, I'm out. Like my deck is a green black beaters deck. I don't need flyers. Like
Saproling's doing work against a 20-20.
yeah, it's so good, man. It just cracks me up. Like
Yeah.
that's
All
the
right.
thing that makes like limited hilarious, makes Magic like great in general. Like
Yeah.
stories like that where you're just like, oh crap, I just lose to this dumb junkie like uncommon. Yeah.
And you can present the stories like, yeah, I attacked my opponent like 3 times with a 20-20. And then I lost.
I lost to 1/1 Saprolings
Yep.
because you just made 1 every turn block. Nice 20-20.
All right. So thank you all for joining the club this week. Make sure, as always, you check out wizardtower.com for all your Magic single needs. Great content on their website and free shipping on singles in Canada. And if you want to get in contact with us, you can find us on Twitter at DWC Podcast 1 or on Facebook as the Disorganized Wizard Club Podcast. Shoot us a message if there's anything you want us to talk about that we talked about on the show, or if any topic you want clarified. We always like hearing from listeners. Send us your blowout stories. We're still running the blowout stuff. So if you have something sweet that happened to you at pre-release weekend, ship it our way.
Got
We'll
a
tell
sweet
it on the
foil.
show.
Got a sweet foil Slimefoot coming to Son's way. You know he'll play it in standard too. That kid'll play anything.
Oh, yeah. Last
And he's like a
FNM
famous brewer. He'll play whatever.
Oh.
I had the funnest match against him, man.
Last FNM, or one of the last times I played him, in this like most recent standard, I was playing Scarab God, obviously, and he's just like, "You ready for this?" And had perfect mana for all 3 games with his 5-color human deck.
Yeah. And as always, however you listen to this podcast, whether it's on Podbean, iTunes, or your podcast app, leave us a review, share it with your friends, rate the podcast. Everything helps this podcast keep growing and bring it to new years. We'll see y'all next week.
Later.